please.
So I just sorry, I just sent it again. So the problem is if we do it this way, I won't see anyone ever. So I either have to have the
Oh,
sidebar or this.
okay. Well, um,
Since we're doing introductions, I feel like we have to do the sidebar.
okay.
Sorry.
To avoid an infinity mirror, don't share your entire screen or browser. Share just a tab. I want to share the whole thing so I can navigate through tabs here. Is that okay?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said I want to share my whole screen so I can navigate through tabs and have them all up, even though it says don't do that.
Yeah, you're fine. Just as long as you don't have any sound. And you're live.
Okay. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We will get started here in just about 5 minutes at 5 o'clock if you're on live with us. Again, welcome to our families this evening. We will get started here momentarily at 5 o'clock. Well, good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight as we do this live meet. We're also recording it, so if you need to reference it again, we certainly can have you do that. Or if you have other friends or family that didn't get to catch it, we will share that link with them. I'm going to start this evening by first turning it over to Dr. Ryba, who's going to do an introduction, and then we'll do some introductions of other members who are on the call. So Dr. Ryba, go ahead.
Thanks so much, Erin, and to all of our kindergarten parents that are online with us tonight. Welcome. We're so excited to start this positive and productive relationship with you as we welcome your kindergartners to the class of 2022-23 next year. So whether this is your first student entering kindergarten or you've had multiple kids go through our district and through our kindergarten program, we want to make sure that you have all of the information necessary to have a great start, to go through the next few months as we go through the registration process, and so that you can make the decision that's most beneficial for your child in terms of half-day kindergarten and full-day kindergarten. So we've got a lot of people on the call tonight that are here to be a support, not just today, but beyond, and provide you a lot of information. But that support doesn't stop just tonight. So we're here to help and to answer questions and to reassure as we go throughout the next few months and get ready for the next school year. So on behalf of our Board of Education and our entire district, thank you for choosing Strongsville City Schools. And we look forward, as I said, to starting a wonderful relationship and doing all that we possibly can to make sure your child gets the utmost out of their education in Strongsville City Schools. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Erin to start us through our evening tonight.
All right, thank you. So as you can see, we are talking tonight about the class of 2035. Those are our incoming kindergartners. It sounds a long, long way away, but it will be here before we know it. They'll be graduating. So as Dr. Ryba said, whether it's your first child, whether you've gone through the process before, we're going to go through all of the steps so that we hope to make it relatively seamless for you. First thing we're going to do, let me show you where the slides will be, and then as promised, we will introduce some of the people on the call. Sometimes we do a live question and answer session. We're not going to do that this evening because we're virtual. What you can do is email or call me with any questions, and you'll see my contact information multiple places. So to see the slides, you'll go to our website, and also if you go to families and enroll a student, you'll see lots of documentation, FAQs, all of the forms, all of the information that you will need. So district staff, you've already met Dr. Ryba. I'm going to ask Mr. Binkley as well as Ms. Scotta to come on and introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Mr. Binkley. I'm the Director of Instructional Technology for the district.
Hi everyone, my name is Lauren Scotta. I am the Gifted and Testing Coordinator for K-12. It's such a pleasure to be on this evening to be able to say hello, and I'm very excited for you and your kindergarten student to be with us this upcoming year at Strongsville City Schools.
Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce two more of our staff, special education coordinators and also preschool. You may know Mrs. Surso and Mr. Kosmikas.
Hi, my name is Megan Surso. As Erin said, I am the principal of our preschool program, and I'm also the special education coordinator there, as well as at Chapman and at Whitney.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Drew Kosmikas, special education coordinator for Sarar Elementary. I have two kids in the district, and I was once a parent at this meeting, so it's it's still a good opportunity to meet with everybody, and good luck this upcoming year.
Thank you. And listed on the screen, you can see some of our other contact personnel. If you have questions regarding any of the information we go through tonight, or as Dr. Ryba said, this is a continued learning process and partnership, here are our contacts. You can find all of their information on our website. And we're going to move to some of our principals now. We have, let's see, 3 principals in attendance tonight. So 3 of you, if you'd like to jump on and say hi.
Hi, everyone. I'm Steve Diederich. I'm the principal of Kinsner Elementary. I want to welcome the class of 2035, and I cannot wait to meet our scholars next year at Kinsner.
My name is Sally Razzo. I am the principal of Sarar Elementary School. I'm multitasking right now. That's why my picture's not up. I'm feeding my kids dinner. And I, too, will be a parent of a person entering kindergarten. So I have a child who is in the class of 2035. I can't believe I'm saying that. So I will be feeling all the feelings that you guys are feeling as you send your children off to school, so we can work together and share ideas with each other. Welcome.
Hi, good evening. My name is Katie Hawk, and I am an assistant principal at both Muraski Elementary and Kinsner Elementary. And I also wanted to share that I actually grew up in Strongsville City Schools myself. I went to Sarar and Center Middle School and the high school, so I can attest that Strongsville is an absolutely great place to send your kids, and they will absolutely receive a quality education. So we are very excited to have each and every one of you join us here.
Thank you so much. And I think you have surmised it, but I'm Erin Green. I am the director of curriculum here. Another contact that you will be working closely with will be Amy Pinney. And she's finishing up a meeting right now, but she'll be, like I said, another close contact that you can reference. I do want to take a minute to thank our administrators who are on this call, giving up part of their evening and working with their kids and getting them dinner and all of the fun things that happen, as well as thank you for watching this either live or after the fact, so that you can learn everything you need to know about the process for kindergarten. So what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through some slides and talk through them. And we're going to try and address a lot of the frequently asked questions as we go through the slides. So I know sometimes parents just want to hear, like, what do I need to do? Give me the details. You'll get those, but we're also going to mix in, like I said, some of the questions that we get asked year after year. So currently, here are our kindergarten teachers. And I show you this not because we can guarantee that we're going to have the same number of teachers or sections or even the same teachers in these positions, but to show you how many sections that we do have. So you can see we have quite a few. Each of the buildings has a half-day kindergarten, and then Whitney also has a half-day AM and a half-day PM. So those are our wonderful teachers. And then we'll start with the kind of the nuts and bolts of this. So how old do you have to be to go to kindergarten next year? There is a state law, and Strongsville uses the August 1st deadline. So to automatically qualify to be in kindergarten in Strongsville next year, Your child needs to become 5 on or before August 1st of 2022. Now, that also means, we know that there are some kids that have birthdays August to September, and in the past, maybe they did qualify. Because we've moved to an August 1st deadline, some kids that kind of fall in the mix. So if you are one of those kids, a parent of one of those kids, and they have a birthday that falls in 2022, but maybe after August 1st, we do have an early entrance process. So what that means is with our gifted coordinator, with Lauren that you met earlier, we go through a rigorous process with a psychologist to see if indeed your child is ready to go into kindergarten. So you are certainly welcome tonight to listen to the information. We'll tell you what you need to do to get registered. But the key here is if your child has a birthday after August 1st and turns 5 after August 1st, you do want to contact our department so that we can schedule you for early entrance if you feel that's the best option. Quite often we get asked, I'm not sure what to do. My child maybe has a October birthday. Should we send him or her, or should we wait? And truly, that's a very individual decision based on, knowing your child, knowing the needs academically, emotionally, socially, all of those factors. So while we can't tell you what to do, we can certainly offer the option of the testing to see if we can even create the opportunity for your son or daughter. So moving on, this would be only for early entrance. So only for those that we just talked about that maybe don't qualify, they're not 5 by August 1st. Here's what you would need to do. You'll need to contact our office. And then if you want full day kindergarten, you do want to do the full day request form, but don't worry about a deposit. If your child qualifies, you decide this is the route you want to take, then we'll have you pay that deposit. If you're thinking early entrance and you want half day, there's nothing you need to do at this point. So you can leave the meeting, it's easy. Again, call our office. We want to set you up with an appointment. And it is kind of a rigorous 2-part process to ensure that we're making the best decisions to completely accelerate your child. But if you want full day, again, you can fill out the request form. You don't need a deposit. Half day, you don't need to do anything at this point. And you will hear from our office as to when that testing will take place after you've called and contacted us. So that is early entrance. We're going to get into just generalities here of kindergarten options. So if you're new to this, you may not be familiar with a lot of what we have to offer. So we have 2 options. First, we have our traditional half-day program, and it's either an AM or a PM, and the kids are there about 2.5 hours. So you can see the times that are there. And then we do offer the tuition-based full-day program, where kids go the same hours as our 1st through 5th graders. So they are there that entire full day, as the hours show there on the screen. Another question we often get is, why do we have to pay for full day? Other districts offer it without a payment. Why do we pay, or why do we charge? And this isn't something that we take lightly. We do evaluate it all the time as to, is this something that we can take the cost on? And as we continue to work with the board and make these decisions, each year we look at this because we know early education is incredibly important. However, the state of Ohio only allows and provides funding for half-day kindergarten. So in order to recover the rest of the day, the other half, all of the costs associated with that, with the staffing and other items, we do charge for that other half day. So when you're paying the tuition, you're paying for that extra half day that the half-day program doesn't pay for. Please note, we're not making a profit in any way, shape, or form. We are just charging enough to meet the expenses. And that's also why the cost varies a little from year to year, because we calculate with the number of kids and the staffing, what does it actually take? What is that number that we need to charge to break even? This year, we had some online options. We also had them last year. The question has been asked, we don't know everything going on in the world. Are we going to offer an online option? And our answer to that is yes. If we as a district decide to do an online option for all kids, kindergarten will absolutely be part of that. You can sign up and say that you want to do online only. If it's full day, there's not a cost for it, but it's also the same time as the half day. And what I mean by that is the curriculum is not going to vary depending on if you're doing online half day or online full day. It's not a set time that you're in front of the computer. It's work and assignments that they complete. So I can definitely explain more if you're interested in online. I know typically you want to, and the kids want to get into the building. They want to go to kindergarten. So the only caveat here that I do want to make sure you're well aware of, if you decide that you want to do the online option, then you're committed to that. Once we make that determination, it doesn't have to be tomorrow, but once we make that determination and you decide, yes, we're going to do online, we'll need to keep you in the online program for the first semester. And then second semester, you can change your mind. Similarly, if you decide I'm going to send my child in person, they need to stay in person that whole first semester. And then second semester, they would have the option to go online. And that's the same as we do for all grades K through 12. So why differences? What are some of those differences beyond the obvious time? As you can see, we have a premier education. We feel very strong that we have high quality teachers providing a premier education. So they're going to be prepared for first grade no matter what. The content that we teach, the skills that we teach, they're the same either way. However, with the full day program, it obviously allows additional time. And so with that additional time, we don't start doing first grade standards or doing anything above and beyond. But what we do is we have more time to do deeper interaction with the content. We also have more time in the day so we can work with students providing interventions and enrichments a little bit more. We do that on half day as well. There's also increased teaching time if the kids are there full day. So they may have some opportunities for project-based learning or makerspace time, things like that. Additionally, if you're full day, you get some additional time in art, music, phys ed, and then they also have the recess and lunch at school. If you're half day, you still get the specials. So your student would still get art, music, and phys ed. It's just a little bit shorter duration. One thing to note is we don't mix half day and full day kids into the same classroom. So they're separate. So it will be a whole class of half day or a whole class of full day students. We don't have kids coming and going within the same classroom. So in talking about some of these things with classrooms, placements, and then transportation, class size, we try very diligently to not exceed 25 students in the classrooms. We are pretty stringent about this because we know we want class sizes small, and that's important. In order to offer a full day kindergarten class, we need to have 20 students. So that determines the sections and the numbers that we offer. I'm going to introduce Amy Pinney as she just jumped on and we can see her. Let her tell you just a bit about herself since you'll be working with her as well.
Hey everybody, I am Amy Pinney. I am the supervisor of elementary curriculum. I'm sorry I was late. We were working on some textbook meetings, but I'm really excited to be here and be able to meet you all.
Thank you. And you're welcome to go off camera, Amy, if you want, or you can stay on. It's your choice. Oh, okay, that made it easy. So back to the slides. We need to have 20 students in order to make it an even number to run the course. So if we have fewer than 20, it doesn't make sense for us to run a full day program, with 14 kids. So once we hit 20, we can create a new section. If we would meet the cap of full day registrations at a building, we could do one of two things, and we do this all based on numbers. So if we have another 20, we can open another section at the building, or we can put students on a waiting list for the same building. Additionally, we can offer a spot at another building. So it may not be the home building, but we can offer that. It doesn't mean that you have to send your child there, but for example, if Chapman's full day was capped, we may say, we can put you on a waiting list, or there's an opening at Whitney, Soror, one of the other buildings. We do make a concerted effort to keep siblings at the same building. That's why when you fill out the survey for full day kindergarten, it will ask, are there other siblings that go to a building? Just because we know with busing, with just having a kindergarten student, we like to keep them together just to help out both students. And it's important you don't have kids at two different buildings. Something to note is the order in which we receive your request form, which is the form that you'll fill out starting tomorrow morning. That's the order on which you'll be placed on our list. Now, in the past, people have been very, very concerned about they have to immediately log on at 8 and 00 in 1 second and do the form. You're certainly welcome to. We can also say, though, that we've never had a student that wanted full day kindergarten not have an opportunity. So it maybe isn't at their home building. However, if you're number 300 on the list of once for full day, we've never not been able to place somebody that wanted a spot. So don't feel that it's an urgency where you have to sit on the computer, refresh. Certainly you're welcome to do whatever you choose, but we will open the form at 8 o'clock in the morning. We used to do an in-person registration, and that got a little bit crazy because people would start basically camping out early. We want to avoid all that and make it a lower stress situation for you. So around 8, if possible, if you can log in and fill out the form. Once you do the form, we're going to also ask for a deposit, which we'll talk about in just a second. So that is what is going to guarantee your slot once we have the form and the deposit. That's going to place you on the list. That's going to give us the kind of the go-ahead that we need to start looking at numbers and placing within buildings and determining sections. So we don't have a predetermined number of sections at this point. It really depends upon how many register. As far as transportation, if you're generally over a mile away, we will bus you to your home building. We do have a list on our website of non-busing streets, which is basically, here are the streets that are very local, centralized to that home building. We don't bus to those because they're close, they're within the mile. We work really hard, as we said, to make sure that your child attends the closest possible school. If it's full, whether half day, full day, we will make opportunities available for you. However, that is something that, you get to make that decision about for full day. If it's not at your home building for some reason, you decide, do you want that? Do you want to wait for something to open up, or do you want to do half day in your home building? Sometimes we are asked, what about babysitters? Can we get bused from a babysitter's house? That would need to be within the school's boundary. So if you're in the Chapman neighborhood, the babysitter is in the Chapman neighborhood more than a mile away, we have paperwork where we could make that the pickup and drop off. So yes is the short answer there. And then how early can I drop my kid off at school? I love that question. The earliest is 10 minutes prior to the start time, and that's for both half day and full day. Question that we get quite often is, I need AM or I need PM, can I select? And as you saw with when I showed the teachers, we have limited number of half-day sessions. And what I mean by that is this year, doesn't mean next year, but this year, every building only has one half-day section, with the exception of Whitney. I believe they have two, an AM and a PM. So quite frankly, it may just depend upon the building and when, working with transportation and when we need the routes, it'll be designated for you. So for example, Chapman has an AM kindergarten this year. Doesn't mean that they will always have the AM, but there's little room for us to take requests. So if you would happen to be at a building that offered both AM and PM and you wanted to put in that special request, if there's room, if it makes sense logistically, then you could work with the building principal to make that decision. If you do that, the midday transportation piece, parents would be responsible for the pickup and the drop off or pickup for the midday point. And again, that's only if you're picking something, you're supposed to be AM based on where you live, because of work schedules, whatever, you decide I really need PM, it makes sense, you're allowed, there's room, then the midday, whether that's the drop off or pickup, you would need transportation, just because our buses wouldn't be running that route per se. When do I find out? In April, you will find out. We'll be mailing to you, here is the placement, and full day and full day for sure, you would receive that. And then you can make that decision. Do I want this assignment? Do I not this placement, or do I not want this placement? And we'll work with you if you have questions on that. Of course, you get a very detailed letter, but those will come out in April. In late June, you'll get an email that kind of says, okay, welcome to the district. Here's how you set up your online parent account. And that's going to be your portal to things like transportation information. What bus would my child take? What's the time? What stops do they need? What are the times of those stops? Those type of things. Also, it will connect you with the teachers and the classes and the grades in time. So that's an important piece that you'll get. That will be, again, it's called Unified Classroom Parent Account. In late June, we'll send that out. And, do I know exactly who my teacher or my classroom is going to be? That's a building decision, and they post those on the building about a week before school starts. So it's the traditional, you go up to the building and you look for your name on the list, and that's done by school. If you have a child currently in our early learning preschool, and by that I mean Strongsville Early Learning Preschool at either location. We have one on Lund Road. We also have one on Chapman. Just a special note for these parents, these families, when we get to the registration part, you don't have to register your child. You don't have to give us the phone bill and all of the required documentation, because you've done that already. You do need to do the full day request form if you're interested in full day. So I'll say that one more time. If you have a child currently attending our preschool and you're interested in full day for next year, go ahead tomorrow and fill out that full day request form. Now, sometimes students on IEPs, there may be some special considerations and they receive full day. We work with those families to make sure that, if it's an educational decision, then there's not the charge for it. But again, it's very individualized. Holistically, if you have a child at early learning preschool, you want full day kindergarten, we need you to do the request form and the deposit, just as everybody else would. The piece you don't have to do is the actual registration that starts in February. So I'll talk about that on this slide. So here are your steps. Again, if your child is all of the right age, they're already 5 by August 1st, and they are not in our early learning preschool, which is probably about 90% of our viewers here. What you need to do is tomorrow I'll show you the link, but you go onto the website and you'll go to enroll a student and then the kindergarten section, and you'll complete this full day request form. So it's a Google form. It's going to ask you very basic information. So you don't have to have a whole lot prepared. You don't need utility bills, proof of residency, any of that. It's going to ask you for your child's name, birth date, like we said, siblings, address, those type of things. Are you interested in the online or the in-person option? Just a couple general informational type things. So it doesn't take a whole lot of time to complete. So again, that opens tomorrow morning, January 13th at 8 a.m. And then you're going to need to submit the $300 deposit. We need the deposit by January 21st at 4 p.m. So we kind of have that deadline of, okay, if you're really serious, which we suspect you are, you fill out the online request form and you get us your deposit by the 21st. Then we can start placing. We can look at class lists. We can start to figure out how many sections we're offering. The next thing is in February, so you don't have to do it tomorrow. You don't have to do it immediately, but you'll want to start looking at the registration information on our website. And it's all there as far as what you'll need to actually register in the district. So there's an online registration packet. Once that opens, it's right around Valentine's Day, and you have about a month to fill that out. That's when they're going to ask some more specific things. So there's some slides coming up about that as well. But again, that's not an immediate pressing need. So if you're just worried about, I want to get in the full day, I'm going to fill out the form tomorrow morning, I'm going to do my deposit, and then everybody will do the registration starting mid-February going through mid-March. March 11th will be the actual deadline for that. If you're half-day interested, and again, you're not at the early learning preschool, you meet the age requirement, you're going to do very similar things, except you don't need to fill out that full-day request form. You don't need to provide a deposit. You'll just do the other things, and that is go onto our website, go into the Enroll a Student, do the online registration between February 14th and March 11th. And then there's some required documentation. It's the normal stuff that we need to enroll you in the district. Here's what you'll need. And again, this is not for tomorrow. This is for between February and March 11th. So you'll need to find the birth certificate of your child, immunization records, a proof of residency, and there's some options listed there, and this is all on the website as well. If you have a situation where the child's not living with both of the parents, then we just need a verification of legal custody or guardianship. And then if you have your child is on an IEP or has an ETR, you would know that because they're coming from pre-kindergarten and you've been involved in that process. Just a copy of that as well, so we can begin to plan appropriately for kindergarten. So again, that'll be on the website. You can look to upload those documents. Couple different ways. You can upload them right onto the registration site. So there's, where you can click on upload, select the file, and directly upload it to us. That's our preferred method, but it may not be yours. So we give a couple other options. If you have a scanner and you want to email those things, we're going to ask you to email them to our registrar. Sue Koheiser is her name, and her email is located here. It's also all over the website when you go for registration. It would help us greatly when you do this if you put your student's name and kindergarten registration in the subject, because Sue gets a lot of emails. Another idea, if you don't have a scanner and you don't want to do the upload or don't have the ability to do the upload, we can have you take a photo of them from your phone or from an iPad or a device and email them to Sue Koheiser. There's some specific information there as well. And then lastly, You can put them in the drop box. We have one here at our administrative offices at 18199 Cook Avenue. You want to make sure you put them in an envelope so they all stay together, or staple them together and put them in our drop box. It is locked, so at any point you can put them in there and we'll get them on the next business day. If you can't do those, or you don't have something, or you need more time, call our registrar, call Sue. She's very understanding, very helpful. Her number is here if you need more help with this process. Again, I'm going to start repeating some things, but you'll want to log on if you want full day kindergarten. You'll want to do the full day request form and submit your deposit. The form opens tomorrow, and then we have through the 21st for you to submit your $300 deposit. What happens, you know, say it's after March 11th and you decided, okay, maybe I do want full day. That's fine. You can pick full day all the way up until school starts. Again, it's going to be based upon enrollment numbers and where you are on our list to see, you know, what building your child will be in or if there's room. So don't feel pressured if you're not ready to make that decision. You can wait, or you can get them on the list and then go from there. We'll talk about deposits, and if you decide not to move forward, getting your money back there. So what's the cost? Again, as I talked about earlier, it's based upon enrollment. We've had between $2,200 and $2,700 is over the last 5 to 7 years. The more kids there are, the lower the enrollment costs will be. And you'll get that over the summer once we have those classes and we have the acceptance letters mailed out. You'll know the exact amount. Again, a reminder, the full day kindergarten request form and the $300 deposit will need to submit it to the treasurer's office. And there's also an online pay, which I will talk about momentarily as well, if you don't want to bring a check here or mail a check here to our treasurer's office. So how do I pay? Here's all that information again. Once we know for sure the enrollments in the sections, we'll communicate to you. It shouldn't be a surprise with regards to kind of the parameters that I mentioned, the $2,200 to $2,700. I know that's a big variance, but it shouldn't, you know, you don't expect to get something that says $3,500 or $1,200, unless there's been a huge boom that we don't know about of incoming kindergartners. We will invoice you in 2 installments for the tuition minus the deposit, and that will come through the treasurer's office. And then the first tuition payment, that first chunk, the first half, is going to be due August 5th. If you decide you're going to pay the full tuition all at once, so instead of splitting it into the first half of the year and the second half of the year, it's not a ton, but we do offer a $50 discount, and we know every little bit helps. So if that's something that you are able and willing to do or want to do, choose to do, we do offer that $50 discount. And then the balance that's going to be due for the second half will be due by December 16th. That seems early, but our semester, mid-year point, is in January, right after we come back from break. So the first half of the year ends at the end of December before we go on winter break. So ways in which you can pay, if you are a cash person, we will take your cash and give you a receipt. That would need to be in person at the treasurer's department. We're open from 7:30 to 4-ish, Monday through Friday. You can do a check payable to Strongsville City Schools. You can deliver that, you know, in person here. You can mail it to us. Just be cognizant that we do need to receive it by the 21st. And we know the situation with the mail, it takes a little bit longer. So keep that in mind. We also have a holiday in there, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. There's no mail. So if you're unsure if it will get here in time, probably be better off to either put it in our drop box out front or bring it into the building. Here's our address. And then our last option is credit card. We don't take them in person, so please don't come here with a credit card and say, I'd like to pay, but there is an online option, and I will show you on the page where that's located. Please note that there is a surcharge that applies Again, not from us, but to cover the cost of the company that we utilize. So what happens if I miss a payment deadline? We want to work with you. If you want your child in full day, we work to, help see you through to get on a payment plan. But we also need to ensure that it is something that we are going to receive the tuition for. So the due dates again, August 5th and December 16th. If we don't have it by then, if we haven't heard from you, if we haven't made a payment plan, if you've decided this isn't for us, then we transition the kids back to a half-day classroom after the winter break. So we don't want to do that, of course. We want to keep you in the full-day classroom if that's what you want. But the reason we make these dates in the ways and in the patterns that we do is so that we can make a relatively seamless transition after winter break to a half-day classroom if need be. If you change your mind, so you decide, tomorrow or the next day, you decide and go ahead and fill out the full-day registration and you pay the deposit. And if you decide, this is not what I want, or I have another opportunity, of course, we want you to come here. But if you change your mind for whatever reason, give our treasurer's office a call. The phone number is there. And as long as it's by May 27th, you'll get the full $300 back. If you wait and cancel before July 15th, but after May 27th, we can refund half of the deposit. So your best bet is to decide by May 27th if that's what you want to do. Question that we tend to get sometimes, do we do before and after school care? We have something relatively new that we've partnered with Right at School to provide before and after school care for elementary students at the building. This would be for the full day, or if you're a half day AM, we would have it before the half day AM, or if you're half day PM, it would be after the end of the day. It's affiliated with us, although not directly sponsored by us. It's very well vetted. We've had great success with it. But if you want to learn more, there's information on our website. And then they also have a website, which is there, rightatschool.com/district/Strongsville-OH/. And you can check that out. Again, you have some time to decide on that. Now we're getting into the future, the planners, people that want to know things well in advance. Kindergarten orientation. What is that? Where is it? When is it? This is our proposed date. We do have a school calendar that has not yet been formally adopted. Dr. Riba has been collecting information. There's a calendar committee. It will be board approved. This is the intended date for the start of the school year. So pending no changes, this year it'll be on August 17th. We will have what's known as an orientation. Your child will come with you to the building on this first day. So the other kids are in school, 1st through 5th graders. They're having a regular day of school. You will come and meet the teacher, see the classroom, learn a little bit about what do we use for curriculum. You can bring in the school supplies, and then kids can practice getting on and off the bus and having that experience. You will get that letter from your child's teacher in early August saying, here's the date, here's the time, and we look forward to seeing your child and you. Please note on that first day, the 17th, we need you to transport or walk or however you're getting to the building with your child. We're not providing transportation that day because it's not a full day. It's about a 2-hour time slot that you'll be slated for. In the past, not last year, not the year before, but we've done what's known as kindergarten screenings. This happens before the start of the school year. It's kind of our chance to get to know the kids, get to know their academic levels, see if there's any concerns with anything with hearing. Some of those mandated tests that we have to do either while they're in school or before school. And it's just a nice chance for kids to start to get a little bit into that school feeling. So there are plans, if things stay relatively normalized as they are now, for a half-day screening to happen in early to mid-August for incoming kindergarten students. We don't yet have the date. We need to see what's happening in the world of COVID. We need to see exactly the calendar, all of those things. But we will certainly let you know once we have those dates solidified. We will tell you the time. Again, it's an hour or two chunk, depending on how much we decide to do. And it's not mandatory. It's just nice if we have that opportunity to work with your child prior to the start of the school year. Again, the people that are super eager and organized sometimes ask, where can I find supply lists? These will be posted by July 1st on your child's school's website. So you're going to hear me say repeatedly, you know, a lot of this is on the website. It's a great thing to get familiar with if you haven't been on it or you haven't explored it recently. We have a nice new layout. It's a lot more user-friendly. It's www.strongnet.org, and you can search for school supply lists, or if you go to the building page, you will see those there. Here's a recap. I'm not going to read all of these dates for you, but the important ones, starting tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., you can begin to fill out the form. If you go on now, it's not open. We'll open it at 8 tomorrow morning, just to be fair to everybody. The deposit is due then by the 21st of January. And then you can do the pre-registration type where you, excuse me, where you provide that documentation, all of that between mid-February and before March 11th. Placement letters we talked about, you'll get those early on. There's some cancellation deadlines if you want to get that money back that you paid. And then your tuition statements when those are due. These are our anticipated dates. Again, it's dependent upon the calendar, but the orientation, as we talked about, on the 17th, and then the first day for our kindergarten students, both half and full day, as long as everything stays the way in which we intend for it, or we have the calendar slated to go, it'll be August 18th this year. So again, copy of all of this, as well as an FAQ document that has pretty much everything else that I think maybe I didn't cover. I think it's covered on the website. So just a recap, excuse me. I know it seems like overkill. I just want to be sure that it's as user-friendly as possible. You want to go to our website, go to For Families and enroll a student. So I am going to show you that. I'm going to switch tabs here. And again, our website, strongnet.org. You can go to Families. Now there's quite a few ways to find it, but the easiest way is Families. And then scroll down to the E's, you'll see Enroll a Student. Click on this. And we have made a separate section for our incoming kindergarten students. So right here for incoming kindergarten students, click here for more information on registration. This whole page is now about what we just talked about. So you can see the slides. Here's your FAQs. Here's the link that will go live tomorrow morning. Again, it's there now. If you click on it, it'll say, we're going to make it active tomorrow morning. Here's some things about, you know, what do I need to submit for immunization records? Here's some things about transportation. If you're not sure your elementary building, what your home school is, you'll want to click here and you can find your elementary school. And then a little bit about Safety Town. Sometimes parents have an interest in that as well. All right. Financial questions. Moving on, if you have any financial questions, you can contact our treasurer's office. We have Dawn Evangelista. She's great to answer questions. As I said, you can contact me for anything with programming, academic, anything we talked about tonight. Please note my email is my first and last name together, which is a little bit different than other people in the district. And it's at scsmustangs.org. So feel free to email me. That's probably the easiest way or you are welcome to call as well. So that is the completion of what we have tonight to share for you. Again, anything that you may want to know, I think we have it addressed here on our website, through our slides, through our FAQs. And we hope that answered your questions. To echo our principals, to echo Amy, to echo our administrators, we are super excited to have the opportunity to educate your child. We don't take that lightly. We know how important your child is and their education and all that goes into that. So we absolutely will dedicate our best efforts to making it a very rewarding experience. If you have questions, if there's anything at any time we can help you answer or just walk you through again, please let us know, and we'll be glad to work through that with you. So on behalf of the entire district, I want to thank you for watching this and hope that we are able to educate your child and look forward to working with them and you in the very near future. Thank you very much.